who shoots their puppy in the face?
Listen, I don't want to be the one person out here defending Kristi Noem. I agree with you. She's probably out of the Veep stakes. I don't really care that much about Kristi Noem. And I agree with you. It's bad politics to shoot your puppy in the face and then to brag about it. I agree. This is political campaign school 101. It's not a smart thing to do. However, in Kristi Noem's defense, who do you want to be a governor of your state? Do you want someone who's really nice and sensitive and feeling? Or do you want some cold-blooded killer who takes Cricket out to the gavel pit and puts Cricket down like old Yeller because he ate all the chickens?
These are not the choices.
You want the really nice?
No, you can choose someone who's tough and not a puppy killer. That's like they're calling her the Jeffrey Dahmer of dogs. She seemed to enjoy it. She lost her temper. I'll read the piece from The Guardian. Okay, we haven't seen her book yet, but this is the excerpt from The Guardian, which she's not denying. This is her story, just to make it clear, in her book. This isn't like some tabloid outed it and she's denying it. They got a copy of her book in advance. Cricket was a wire hair pointer about 14 months old, she writes in her new book. And she said the dog had, quote, an aggressive personality and needed to be trained to be used for hunting pheasant. She says she includes this story to show how she's willing to do anything difficult, messy, and ugly if it needs to be done. By taking Cricket on a pheasant hunt with older dogs, Noem says, she hoped to calm the young dog down. All right, first of all, who thinks an overly excitable young dog is going to calm down on a pheasant hunt with other dogs? That's stupid, right? Hello? Why don't you just put it in front of a bunch of birds it naturally wants to kill and its ancestors have been trained for generations to kill, and it'll be just like a Xanax for the dog. Unfortunately, Cricket ruined the hunt, going, quote, out of her mind with excitement, chasing all those birds and having the time of her life. This would be the beginning of Cricket's death sentence for Governor Noem. Noem describes calling Cricket and then using an electronic collar to attempt to bring her under control. Nothing worked. Then on the way home after the hunt, as Noem stopped to talk to a local family, Cricket escaped Noem's truck and attacked the family's chickens, quote, grabbing one chicken at a time, crunching it to death with one bite, then dropping it to attack another. Okay, do you know what my Strudwick would do if I brought him near a chicken farm or anywhere near there were chickens? He would do exactly the same thing. And he is the sweetest big glug you've ever seen. They're dogs. They see this as food, as prey. The dog didn't understand that it wasn't for him to eat, but she refused
Megyn, he's
to,
the
what's it called?
Dog.
Train him.
He's the sweetest dog. Tell that to the chickens. Won't somebody please think of the chickens? It occurs to me that this memoir, this episode that Kristi Noem is recounting, it's sort of the opposite of Richard Nixon's Checkers speech. When the left was attacking Richard Nixon, really trying to push him out of politics, he realized that by hugging this little puppy, he could win support from everyone. And so he said, the one gift I'm not going to give up is this sweet little dog Checkers. Kristi Noem must have missed that lesson in political class, or she took the opposite notes from it. But in any case, I think we all know what she was thinking here. She was thinking that she's a female politician, and so she has a weakness because she's a member of what has traditionally been described as the weaker sex. She's got to make herself look really tough. If she wants to be a leader, she's got to look like the Iron Lady. She's got to pull a Maggie Thatcher. And she thought that this would accomplish that and appeal to her audience. So it didn't work, obviously. It was a pretty grisly killing. We haven't even gotten to the part where Governor Noem then turns her guns on some poor goat that was also old and smelly and angry, and then shot the goat like multiple times. And it was a grisly account. But if we can take ourselves away from the emotion of it, Megyn, I guess this is my broader point. I don't think there's anything wrong with humanely killing an animal on a farm. Could she have done something different? Could she have given it up for adoption? Could she have sent it to a farm upstate?
Theory,
maybe.
Right, like the horse is suffering and he has to be put down. Everyone gets that. She wouldn't be getting the blowback that she's getting now. Or the dog had bit 17 people, was a mature dog. She tried to rehab and train it. Maybe then. This dog was 14 months old. And I'll tell you something. We've been hearing from dog trainers all weekend since this broke. And I'm going to get to the details of what she did. But dog trainers are saying things like the following. This is a guy named Dan Lewson quoted in Rolling Stone, professional hunting dog trainer, saying a 14-month-old dog is, quote, a baby that doesn't know any better. To me, it's a lack of guidance by the owner or training by the owner or discipline of the owner, he says, explaining that young bird hunting dogs in training often go through a slow process of introduction to deadfall before ever being around gunshots. There are a lot of steps, he says, that you take before you take it to a field and shoot birds over it. Hello, that's obvious even to those of us that don't have traditional bird hunting dogs. Labs are meant to go retrieve the dead carcasses. Go ahead.
Megyn, I think this dog trainer has accidentally hit on the real point here, which is even 20, 30, 40 years ago, people probably wouldn't have thought this was a smart political story, but they wouldn't have become so enraged as they are now. And I think part of the reason why people are getting enraged over Kristi Noem taking her dog out back like old Yeller, even a little young dog 20 years ago, is because we now view dogs as babies. That's what that trainer said. It's a little baby. And today, I'm not going to name which family member of mine it was. I have a family member who purchased a dog. He rescued a dog from a very expensive breeder in Texas, flew a Guardian down to pick up the little dog. Then they flew back to New Jersey. Then this relative of mine bought a stroller, a nice expensive stroller, to stroll the little dog around so that the little doggie's unvaccinated paws wouldn't touch the nasty sidewalks of New York and New Jersey. This is crazy. And you don't need to take my word for it. The Holy Father, Pope Francis, has said, we are living in a culture now that is mistaking animals, especially puppies, for children. So as we have fewer and fewer children, and not even through natural infertility, but choosing to have fewer children, choosing not to get married, we all of a sudden start to treat animals like they're kids. And look,
this is
I'm
not
all for
it.
the puppies,
You're
Megyn.
off. You're wrong. You're wrong. This is not it at all. Fine. People have gone so far. Forget dogs. They have monkeys now. They call them monk kids. They put them in diapers. They dress them. Yes, there's a problem there. But America loves its dogs. They're not replacements for children 9 times out of 10. They're an addition to the family that are messy and a hassle and difficult and awesome. And you get them because it's fun to love them and have them love you and play with them and teach your children how to care for animals and all of that. So this thing is stretched across party lines. It's true. Democrats and Republicans are outraged by her behavior because dogs tend to be extremely sweet. And the fact that this puppy killed chickens, which are below him or her, Cricket was a she, on the evolutionary scale, right? Thank you. Doesn't say anything about how aggressive it was. And she talks about how Cricket allegedly came for her as she tried to get it away from its meal, the chicken, and Cricket snapped at her. Again, many dogs that aren't aggressive would do that because they see it as their food. It needs to be trained. She goes on to say, Cricket behaved like a, quote, trained assassin. When Noem finally grabbed Cricket, she says, and by the way, another dumbass move to bring your puppy by a chicken farm before you've trained it, after you brought it out on a pheasant hunt thinking it would just know how to behave. Okay, the dog, quote, whipped around to bite me, right, because you were trying to take food out of its mouth. Then, as the chicken's owner wept, that's also a problem. I don't know who's crying over their chickens. Okay, but I guess you get attached to your chicken. Emily Zanotti, she would tell me so. Noem repeatedly apologized. She wrote, I'm only sympathetic to the cute animals. I've told my audience this before. She wrote the shocked family a check. Okay, that was the right thing for Kristi Noem to do for the price they asked. And then helped them dispose of the carcasses littering the scene of the crime. Through it all, Noem says Cricket was the picture of pure joy. Then she adds, I hated that dog, adding that Cricket had proved herself untrainable, dangerous to anyone she came in contact with, and less than worthless as a hunting dog. At that moment, I realized I had to put her down, quote unquote. Noem then led Cricket to a gravel pit. Quote, it was not a pleasant job, but it had to be done. And after it was over, I realized another unpleasant job needed to be done. The Guardian. Incredibly, Noem's tale of slaughter is not finished. Her family, she writes, also owned a male goat that was nasty and mean because it had not been castrated. Furthermore, the goat smelled disgusting, musky, rancid, and loved to chase Noem's children, knocking them down and ruining what? Their safety, their well-being? No, their clothes. Getting their clothes dirty, Michael. Noem decided to kill that guy too, the same way she just killed Cricket the dog. Though she dragged him to the gravel pit, the goat jumped out as she shot and therefore survived the wound. Noem went back to her truck, retrieved another shell, then hurried back to the gravel pit and put him down as well. At that point, she writes, she realized a construction crew had watched her kill both animals. The startled workers swiftly got back to work, she writes, only for a school bus to arrive and drop off Noem's children. Kennedy, her child, looked around confused, this is her daughter, and asked, "Where's Cricket?" Cricket's dead, shot in the face by mommy, Kennedy, who's now bragging about it in a book. There's no coming back from this. She tried this morning, I'm reading that guy, Dan Lassen, Michael, to do like a corrective tweet, something to like stem the bleeding, saying, "I can understand why some people are upset about a 20-year-old story of Cricket, one of the working dogs at our ranch in my upcoming book. The book is filled with many honest stories in my life, good and bad days, challenges, painful decisions, and lessons, blah, 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 blah." The ratio on this, meaning people who people who liked it, 17,000. People who have commented so far, 26,000. The earlier two tweets, wishing a happy birthday to Melania Trump, completely ratioed as well. 9,000 liked it. 7,000 and climbing on the dislikes and the comments. And then she tried, "We love animals, but tough decisions like this happen all the time on a farm. Sadly, we just had to put down 3 horses, blah, blah, blah." Harsh ratio on that one too. America's not having it. 6,000 likes, 22,000 comments. This is political malpractice, and she's managed to piss off 98% of all dog and pet lovers in America.
It will be studied for generations to come in poli-sci classes as a really dumb move. There's no question. My last defense, though, of Governor Noem, as you read that tale, I think we're getting this image of Governor Noem as Patrick Bateman in American Psycho. Cricket, do you like Huey Lewis in the News, kind of putting on the smock and everything? And it'd be one thing if she were torturing this animal, but she just kind of took him out back, said, "Look at the flowers, George," and did a little of mice and men kind of action, a little old Yeller action.
Sweet Cricket was having the time of her life.
As this psycho dog was gleeful, at the bodies of the chickens, tossing them in the air.
Psycho. That's normal. That's normal behavior. Dog, every time Stredwick sees a squirrel or a rabbit run across our property, he's almost frothing at the mouth. He's so excited. If he were just a little faster, he'd be killing them every day, but he's kind of fat and a little slow, so he can't do it. He's a dog. Don't get a dog if you don't want something that's going to eat smaller critters running across your property, and don't bring your damn dog to the chicken farm. Grand Canyon University, a private Christian university in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona, believes in equal opportunity and that the American dream starts with purpose. Change the world for good by putting others before yourself. Whether your pursuit involves a bachelor's, master's, or doctoral degree, GCU's online, on campus, the campus is gorgeous, and hybrid learning environments are designed to help you achieve your unique academic, personal, and professional goals. With over 330 academic programs as of September, GCU meets you where you are and provides a path to help you fulfill your dreams. The pursuit to serve others is yours. Let it flourish. Find your purpose at Grand Canyon University. Private, Christian, affordable. Visit gcu.edu. Hey, thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.